one thing I really love about, firstly, having you in my life and basically being in control of what I eat, um, but also just the way that you respect food.
Mhm,
Like the idea of food as medicine rather than
mhm,
food is food. So wondering
mhm.
if you could elaborate on that for me.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of ties in everything that I do really with my mineral work and the permaculture work and just this quote that's, food can be the quickest form of poison or the slowest form of medicine. The quickest form of medicine or the slowest form of poison?
Hmm.
I think that's
That's
how it goes.
yeah. I think that's the way it would go. Yeah.
Mhm. The And I really feel that, and I feel like indigenous knowledge has known that forever, and so much of our food cycle these days is just filled with things that are slowly killing us, and just coming back to that wisdom, and we've just lost our relationship with food, and I think what's so powerful about dieta is that we get to reassess our relationship with food through the process of cutting out all of these foods, all of the sugar, all of the salt, all of the spice, all of the stimulation, and just really come back to the wisdom of our bodies that, like, our bodies know what they need, right? We have this intuitive intelligence of what our cravings are. And I think so many of us are disconnected from our cravings and we don't trust our cravings, right? If we're craving an Oreo cookie, it's like that's not what your body actually wants. That's what your dopamine wants. That's what your mind wants. That's what your taste receptors want. But your body has this really deep knowing of what it needs. And I feel like we've become so disconnected from that wisdom and we've learned how to not trust that wisdom. And so a lot of my work is teaching people how to come back to that wisdom.
Mhm. I mean,
Mhm.
just in general, it's like most of your work is just like helping people unlearn.
That's what we're all fucking here to do. We got so many programs running, bad habits and bad programs. And yeah, really just come back to the wisdom of nature, come back to the wisdom of our bodies, unlearn all of this programming.
Hmm.
And
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that I noticed like during dieta, which is like nice that you brought that up. So I actually kind of didn't think of that as an angle, which it definitely should have been. Um,
that's why we're a
but
team,
like,
baby.
yeah, um, at first it's all the cravings going off, it's just like, oh, cookies, ice cream, yum. And then that slowly, once that you get over that hump, it takes like a good, at least for me, it took a good like 30, 60, even maybe 90 days to like really land post ice cream cravings,
I
you
would
know?
say me, it took 30. I would say 30 days. I was like, rolling on the
Uh-huh.
food thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't like salivating, but like it was coming up still every now and then.
Mhm,
Um, But then once I got over that hump, then it was like, oh, now I finally, for the first time in my life, understand what it's like to eat intuitively. And it's like we would go to the market and it's like, oh, I want this fruit. Oh, I
mhm,
feel like red things. And it's like, oh no, I don't want broccoli. You know what I mean? I can't do any more broccoli
mhm,
this week. And it's like I knew what my body needed intimately.
mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
past the point of like, oh, my body needs vegetables, not ice cream. And it's like, no, we're talking about what specific vegetables in specific portions at specific
Yeah,
times of the day,
yeah.
you know? Like
Mhm,
actually riding the wave of the intuition of what the body wants at like all times.
mhm. And just the connecting with, like, your senses too, right? Like, you're attracted to certain colors and certain fruits because your body knows what it can provide you with,
Mhm,
right? Red signifies that it's a blood purifier. So your body will be drawn to certain, red foods when you're about to bleed, for instance.
mhm,
And that's why you
mhm,
crave red foods right before your bleed, and like taste and smell and touch, and just becoming intimate with your food right? When you go to the market and you like touch your food and you feel your food and you interact with the person that grew your food, right? It's just like you turn on all of those senses, you signal to the body what's coming, and your body is able to like prepare to digest these foods as well. And, when you receive all this food out of a counter and eat it in your car, it's like you're just cutting off all of those signals.
Mhm,
You
mhm.
know,
And I
like
can only imagine, like, what it must be like. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that live, like, exclusively on Uber Eats groceries, like,
100%.
delivery. They just, like, sit back at their computer, they don't look, smell, touch, feel anything. They have no discernment around, "This mango looks better than that mango," and
Yeah.
it's literally just, like, fiat megacorps just, like, sending the shit down the pipeline to you.
hmm And also being in tune with like what's growing in your area too.
Mhm,
Like a lot of food gets imported and it's like it wasn't grown on soil that you're adapted to. It wasn't grown in an environment that you're adapted to. Like you will metabolize food better that is grown in the area that you're in.
mhm,
Right?
mhm.
Like there is a point where like you would metabolize food better that was grown where your grandmother was in, right? But like, come down the line too, like you are attuned to your surroundings, the amount of light that is being received, the wind, the air, all of it, the minerals in the soil. If you're living in that environment, you want to be eating from that environment and you want to be eating seasonally.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I mean, like, even as an example, like, we eat a lot of, like, momos, like, the rambutan lychees down here
hmm
by the fistful, when they're in season. I was just recently in Boston, and they had them in, like, the Whole Foods there, whatever it was, and I was like, "I would never fucking eat these." You know what I mean? Like, shipped
No.
halfway across the world, like, the beauty of the momo, is that, like, you got it yesterday, you know?
hmm Yeah, I mean, and you can taste the freshness in it, but also the nutrient content is there, right? Like when you harvest things early, you plants have this mechanism where they'll actually create like, is it tannins
I mean,
or
there's lots of different things, like, there's, like, lectins and tannins and
lectins and
oxalates
tannins?
and all of it.
They'll basically like make their fruit poisonous until it's ready to be eaten, right? Like
Mhm,
until it's the seeds have fully formed and they could pass on. Like the fruit actually had, like the tree or the vine, the plant has a mechanism where as soon as the seeds are ripe and ready to be fertilized, it will pull out all of those toxins. So if you're harvesting food early, the plant still has all of those toxins, that fruit still has all of the toxins in it, and then you eat it and you absorb them all. And so you don't actually digest food as well when you're not letting food ripen on the vine.
mhm,
As well as if you take food off the vine and you let it sit in your fridge or, in a shipping container for a week, the nutrient content goes down every single day by a significant portion.
mhm. Or we take it to the total extreme of how McDonald's fries are created, and they use so many pesticides and herbicides in the fields and fertilizers that they need to pull out all the GMO potatoes and leave them in a warehouse to off gas for like
Off
60
gas.
days, where you have to wear a fucking hazmat suit, to
Ay,
even
ay,
go
ay.
in there. And then you're like, oh, yeah, well, they've been off gas and now deep fried in seed oil. Yum, yum.
Ay, ay, ay.
Like,
Off
fuck
gas.
me.
Disgusting.
Off gas,
Off
you know?
gas. Gotta off gas your food before you eat
Oh,
it.
of course.
Ay, ay, ay.
And, like, obviously, it's not always that simple where, like, you can just click your fingers and, like, we all go back to eating, like, indigenous and naturally and stuff. Like, food systems are held up, like, in this fucking crazy scheme now, So
Mhm.
it's not just, like, an immediate fix, but, like, as the individual, if you have, like, any level of, like, consciousness, it's like the food that you eat literally becomes you, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a living organism that you take on into your body, right? And like you are constantly taking on the energy of the food that you're eating. So not even, like its nutritional value, but like how it was grown, who it was grown by, who cooked it, who prepared it for you. And when you're so disconnected from that chain of events, like your body doesn't know what to do with it.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah. And like
Mhm.
another perfect example, like even from my own experience, is like I'm super pro red meat, you know? Like obviously we cut it out on diet and everything, but like when I eat it, I feel good. Like I feel my body like really turning on. But, like, there's also energetic components to all these things. And, like, if you go carnivore for, like, any length of time, even, like, after a week, you start to feel, like, this, like, aggression, this, like, instinctual mind gets on overdrive, you know? And there's, like, that layer, you know, to the way like, the way
Mhm.
we eat too. And it's not to,
Mhm.
like, overcomplicate things, but it's just to come back to, like, how important the intuitive thing is. Because
Yeah.
you can't write a list of yes, no, in this proportion and this amount of this different days of the week. It's literally like every meal, you know, is in front
Mhm.
of you and every week is in front of you. And it's like you have to dance with it.
And I think it's really dangerous to, start looking at food just as calories too. I know a lot of women count their calories, and it's like food is so much like, just dulling it down into a number of calories on a table. And it just takes out all the medicine from it. It just strips it down. And
I mean, even like the unit of calories, I may not recall this exactly, but it's something about like putting the material into a like a black box and set fire and see how much energy comes out of it. Like that's how our digestion works.
yeah. And that's why I work with the minerals, because it is something that's tangible, right? It is something that can be measured in the body. And it's like our direct relationship with the ground beneath our feet and with the food that we eat, but it can be measured. Minerals, they're never born and they never die, right? They just cycle from one life form to another. And it's
Mhm.
literally just, the ground that we walk on, the minerals, the grandfathers adapting to our body. And when we die, it's just going to go back into the cycle.
Thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed the show. If you did enjoy the show, don't forget to like and subscribe below. It really helps a growing channel like this out. And click up here, it'll take you to a collection of the best this podcast has to offer.